Malcolm Gladwell says in the book Blink that in the blink of an eye, you know the right answer. And for every second, every day, every week, every year that you postpone a decision, you statistically have a greater chance of making a mistake. In 1982, Lucinda Utley walked into my classroom at my request from a yellow page call. For those of you under 25, that's Google with paper. And she came into my classroom to teach my 13-year-old high school students, middle school students, how to take care of their skin. And in the blink of an eye, I liked her. In the blink of an eye, I wanted to be around her. And when she asked me if I liked to read, I said yes. And she handed me a book that changed my life. It was the book of a woman by the name of Mary Kay Ash. And I fell in love with Mary Kay Ash. And in the blink of an eye, upon reading the book, I wanted to know more about this woman and this company. You see, I didn't come in, nor was I sold the product, nor the marketing plan, but the vision of a woman who spoke my language. And so in the blink of an eye, from reading her book, I accepted a second invitation from Lucinda Utley to attend a sales meeting and a fashion show. At the fashion show, I fell in love with the women of Mary Kay and their genuineness. And so I met these women and I fell in love. And then I went to a second sales meeting, and there were 5 people in the room, and it looked like a 4-H meeting to me. And I didn't know anything about mascara, and I didn't know anything about what they were talking about, but I knew how to show my cows at the county fair, and I knew how to get one of those ribbons that they were all proudly wearing. And I knew when they got those little pins, I knew what those pins meant, because in my jewelry box at home were little 4-H pins, and in the blink of an eye, I knew I could do this, even though I didn't have any facts to prove it, because in the blink of an eye, you know the right answer. So that night I wrote a cold check, because in the South we don't tell anyone that we don't have any money. We just ask when they're cashing the check, and then we do the honorable thing and go figure out how to get the money after we write the check. And so even though I had 3 other jobs, teaching school during the day, waiting tables at night, and sponsoring every club at school that they would let me, in the blink of an eye I gave her the money that I did not have. Because see, in the blink of an eye, you know the right answer. 4 months later, I was at seminar. You know, after I had placed my first $600 order and had gone to 3 banks to convince them to loan me $600, then Lucinda said, now we're going to seminar. And I said, how much is that? And she told me, but in the blink of an eye, I said, okay. And so I waited tables a few extra times to get that plane ticket money. And that day in seminar, and that's why I'm so emotional with all of you right now, because you have another event coming up, and it's in July, and it's in Dallas, Texas. And literally, I can feel myself back in 1982, 35 years ago. I was so naive. I thought I would just maybe go to a few of those boring meetings, because I was used to other kind of business meetings, from my other occupation. I thought, well, I'll make an appearance and then I'll go sit by the pool, because I heard it was warm in Dallas in the summer. And so I even have a picture of me in my cute little bikini at the pool, but it was not during meeting time. And anyway, and so I thought, okay, I'll go. And so we sat at the top of the arena that year, and within 10 minutes, I had scooted to the front 2 inches of my seat. As I observe your behavior today, there are women in this room who are sitting at the front 2 inches of your seat, and you've been sitting at the front 2 inches of your seat for 24 hours because you've never seen a place like this before. You've never been around people like this. Never take this for granted. This does not exist outside these 4 walls. And so that day, in that arena, I watched them debut national sales directors on stage, and these women came on stage and they had videos about their life and videos about their family, and we got to meet their family. And in my 2 inches that I was sitting in my seat, I whirled around and I looked at Lucinda and I said, Lucinda, I have no idea what these women do, but I will do it. I will be that woman. I was all in. In the blink of an eye, I knew the right answer. I didn't have the answer, but I knew the right answer. You have to see the end of the picture and then go back and create the picture. And so I was all in. Once your mind has been expanded, it is like a rubber band. It will never go back, and you will never, ever be able to be the person you were before this conference. It's impossible. It's physically and emotionally impossible to go back home and be the same person, because once you have done that, you are all in. The next step is the next step. And so I kept taking the next step. So that was in July of 1982. And so I just kept doing the next step, the next party, the next interview. I had seen the national position, but I couldn't think about it, except I knew that that's where I would end up. And so I just kept focused on the next step. By January, one of my recruits had gotten a recruit. And I looked at Lucinda and I said, Lucinda, how do I get paid commission on her team members? And she said, you don't. And I said, I don't. And she said, no, you need to be a director to do that. And I said, what's a director? And she told me that was what she was. And I said, well, I want to do that. I mean, I want to be whatever that is, that director thing. So I kept taking the next step. And so then I got serious and I upped my game because the next step was for me to become a DIQ. Now, there's going to be moments that you're going to not realize you're all in, but you're really all in. And let me explain. I was sitting in director training, and I was a teacher, and I loved my life. I didn't join Mary Kay because I didn't love my life. I was a teacher, and I loved what I did in that classroom. And I remember sitting there, and Mary Kay personally trained me. Rena Tarbett, I'll never forget the white suit. She entered the room in this white leather suit. These women, I'd never known women who thought this big. And for some of you in this audience, you've never been around women who talk like we talk. I mean, it is mind-blowing. And so I remember that day thinking, why am I here? Because I'm never going to quit teaching, but here I am being trained to be a Mary Kay sales director. But the smart thing I did was I quit thinking so much and said, okay, I'll just take the next step and see what happens. And so the next step was I became a sales director. So the question I have for each of you right now is, what is your next step? You know, if you're a consultant, what's your next step? Senior consultant. If you're a senior consultant, what's your next step? Red jacket. If you're a star team builder, what's your next step? Team leader. If you're a team leader, what's your next step? Future director. And so I just kept taking the next step. So far today, I've been talking about in the blink of an eye, you know the right answer, that you're all in, and the next step. Now that you like me and you trust me, I need to talk to you about the hard stuff. Because I'm going to slap you. Are y'all ready? Because we've got to talk about the hard stuff. You know, Julia said a few minutes ago in her speech, she said, you know, what I did every day was mundane. It's not glamorous. We don't walk around our home with our stilettos and our heels and our false lashes and people picking us up in limos and having dinner and escorting us here and thither. Okay, it doesn't work like that at home. It's very unglamorous and it's very mundane. So I want to talk to you about the hard part. I believe you believe that you're all in. I believe that you understand you've got to take the next step. I believe that you understand the power of the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye in this room, you have known the right answer. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about that's hard is called personal responsibility. Say it with me. Personal responsibility. On my tombstone, there will be bell curves and there will be graphs, and there will be the word personal responsibility, because those things pretty much encompass who I am. The next thing I want to tell you, and I want you to tattoo it this somewhere on your body, and then I want it on your computer screen, and I want it to like flash in front of your eyes, is this statement. Facts are not feelings, and feelings are not facts. If you've ever had therapy, you'll know that. Facts are not feelings, and feelings are not facts. And so when we talk about personal responsibility, we have to talk about facts and not feelings. I think you might have heard a little phrase that I use a lot. It's called choices. And it goes something like this. Say it with me. I am where I am, choices I have made, or I have allowed others to make for me. Now let's say that again. I am where I am by the choices I have made, or I have allowed others to make for me. Now I want you to kind of breathe in, because if you woke up this morning or last week and you weren't excited about your life, do not blame your husband, because you married him. Do not blame your children that you're not excited about your life or you're not getting what you want out of your life, because I got a newsflash for you. Your children were not born to fulfill you. Ouch. They weren't. Their purpose in life is not to fulfill you or make you happy. Okay? That's not the purpose of children. If you have another job and you don't like your other job, don't blame anybody else. You choose to go there every single day. That's called personal responsibility. I am where I am by the choices I have made, or I have allowed other people to make for me. If you don't like the way the world is going, it is not the president's fault. He doesn't know your name. So it doesn't matter. This stuff does not matter. What matters is that you understand that it is your job to make yourself happy. It is your responsibility. It is your responsibility to be happy. Kathy Jones is famous on this stage in Cincinnati, retired National Sales Director Kathy Jones, for this statement. Because you think I'm tough, she was far tougher than me. The statute of limitations has run out on your victim mentality. Amen. You may tweet that and credit Kathy Jones. The statute of limitations has run out on your victim mentality. Guys, the past is the past. Maybe you got the short end of the straw when it came to parents. Maybe there was injustices done against your grandparents and your great-grandparents. But this is America. It is 2017. It is a different ballgame, and it is for victors. It is for people who take and accept personal responsibility. And so facts are not feelings, and feelings are not facts. And guys, it is time to quit feeling your way through life. Your past will not determine your future. Your past will not determine your future unless you allow it to. You know, you are not 12 years old. You know, when you were 12 years old, other people controlled you. You're not 12 years old. If you did not have good parenting, you now know what good parenting looks like, or you can figure it out. And you know what? We're in America, you guys. We're in the greatest, most amazing country in the world. And you know what? My meme that gets people's panties in a wad all the time, but I'm going to keep posting it until you get it, says, if you woke up broke, why did you go to bed? This is America. You can have 4 jobs if you want it. How badly do you want it? You know, it's amazing to me. I don't want to be poor. I will do anything. I will pick up pop cans on the side of the road. I will not be poor. Poor looks good in the movies. And that's when it ends, because money doesn't buy you happiness. Money buys you choices. That's right. Money buys you choices in life. And so, guys, we live in this amazing, amazing country. And please be clear, if you or anybody in this room is waiting on the government to save you, good luck on that plan. The government's job is not to save you. The government's job is to give you an amazing, safe country so that you can fulfill your dreams. Can you tell I've been a student of the Constitution for the past year? This was a country that you could come to and you could fulfill your dreams, just like Julia's father did, because he understood he could run a company in this country and he could be anything that he wanted. Why do you think there are lines and lines of people trying to get into our country that many of us have taken for granted? And sometimes I almost want to ship some of us out and put some of them in, because we haven't figured out we got it really good here. And so, guys, it is very, very important that you understand as you walk out of here today that this is going to take grit, and it is going to take toughness, and it is going to take a backbone, and it's going to take a work ethic, and nobody's going to do it for you, but you can do it. You say, coming from a dairy farm, I figured out that, you know, having a work ethic doesn't make you wealthy. It doesn't make you successful. A work ethic is only a piece of the equation. You know, when I grew up on that dairy farm and we had to work the same hours every single day, I came out with an amazing work ethic. I went to college and people in my dorm were like having come-aparts and crises and missing class because they were so emotionally upset. That looked like bizarre to me. It's like, dude, go milk the cows. Go to your class. You'll get better when you go there, okay? And so, but guys, the world is full of really hardworking people that struggle. The second piece of the equation to be successful is a will to win. You know, I believe that we draw women like you all in this room. Let me kind of describe us. We don't like cubicles. We don't like people telling us what to do. The husbands are nodding, okay? We don't like people to tell us what to do. We like to be the boss. Am I right? Am I describing you? We like to win. We like to win in grade school, middle school, and high school. We like to compete, but mainly we like to compete with ourselves. We believe that we are excellent, but we have never had an opportunity in the rest of the world to show or prove ourselves. But guys, the world is full of people who have a will to win, and they have a fight to win, but they're poor. So if a work ethic is not the answer, and a will to win is not the answer, what is the answer? Well, it's actually a marriage of those two things. Because when I came into Mary Kay, I had a work ethic and I had a will to win, but I was working 3 jobs and had to write a cold check for $85 to buy a kit. The magic was the starter kit. So when you marry a strong work ethic, a will to win, and a starter kit, then you have everything that you need, because now you're the boss, now you're in charge, and now you're in control. And that is the perfect storm to success. Feelings are not facts, and facts are not feelings. We talked up here on the panel earlier today about the two sides of your brain. You have a very analytical, strategic part of your brain. The part that knows your dollar per hour, that knows your average sales ticket, that knows your average facial, that makes you look smart, that makes you look like a businesswoman. Repeat after me. Businesses make money.
Businesses make money.
And hobbies cost money. Within 72 hours, Leah Lachlan taught me this. If you don't do anything with this information, you just had a nice little vacation that costs you money. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with Mary Kay being your hobby, but please tell your family that it's your hobby because they will expect it to cost them money, like your husband's dog and gun and NASCAR. We understand it's going to cost money because it makes us happy. But businesses make money. And so we've got to use this very analytical, strategic part of the brain. But the other side of the brain is the part that you all get excited when you see your name up here winning a prize, or you walk across stage and you get a ribbon. And that's a powerful force. But you cannot have the luxury of just having one of those two things. You must marry these two things. And here's your little tip. You can just say this was worth your registration fee. There are days when I have to be very analytical. I've got to balance my checkbook. I've got to negotiate contracts, and I've got to be a very analytical person. I cannot talk to you on that day because I don't like you that day. You irritate me. Okay? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? People irritate you. But the days when I get to pour my soul into you, the days when I get to pour my soul into a consultant or a director or a training, I don't want to have to deal with analytical stuff because it annoys me. So learn to position your time so that those things are a part of it. Facts and feelings are amazing things, and they will make you very, very wealthy in this business, but we do have to learn to control them. I want to close by simply saying to you that your life matters. Your life matters. Your words matter. Who you are matters. God clearly tells us that He sent each of us here with a purpose. And Mary Kay is not the purpose. It is not written somewhere in glory days that your purpose on earth was to sell makeup. But your purpose was to figure out how to change people's lives and how to maximize your own life and how to glorify God. And you know what? Here's where Mary Kay fits into the great big puzzle of all of that, because we're all trying to find our purpose in life. Mary Kay gives you this safe place. Have you felt safe in here? You have a safe place where people help you grow in confidence and self-esteem. And when you grow in confidence and self-esteem, you will be able to follow the dream that God had planted in your heart before you were born. He had a purpose for you. He gave you free will. See, the amazing thing is there is an end to your life, and God does know the end, but here's the other kicker. You get to decide it because it's called free will. And free will is choices. Every single day you have a choice. I will have a choice about how I will react. I will have a choice about that disappointment. I will have a choice about everything in my life. And I want to say this real quickly about allowing negativity and negative people in your life, because you are a product of those 5 people. I'm going to talk about pee for a minute. I have 2 granddaughters, so I'm familiar with pee. Okay? When pee is in a diaper, you would never ever think about drinking it. When your babies are in a bathtub and they pee in the bathtub, you kind of go, oh, but you keep on giving them a bath anyway. You just don't let them put their mouth in it, right? Now, when they're in the swimming pool, are you getting this? When they're swimming pool, you know they peed in the water, but that you still let them put their face in the water. And some of you even swim in the Ohio River, which is totally disgusting. Okay? So what is it about pee that changed? Why are you able to get in a swimming pool in a hotel knowing full well those kids peed in that pool? But you will put your face in the water and let some of that water go in your mouth. Why? Because it's diluted. And if you have this negative person in your life that you cannot escape, or this negative place in your life that you cannot escape, you know how you deal with it? You dilute it. After you are with that person, you put in a positive tape, or you read a positive book, and you surround yourself with positive people, and you dilute the pee. So now for the rest of your life, that person will be referred to as pee. I'm just diluting the pee. That's what I'm doing. And if you tweet that, then I don't know, I'll probably have a reputation out somewhere in the world. Inside each of you is a little bitty girl. And when you were little, you knew what she wanted. She had dreams, and she had feelings, and she had hopes and aspirations. And the hard part about getting older is that the world can beat the heck out of you. And some of you came here beat up. And some of you have been beat up for years. And those things that beat you up have stole that little girl away from you. And so I'm going to ask you on your drive home, if you've driven home by yourself, I want you to go home and I want you to find pictures of yourself when you were the happiest. I want you to go find pictures of yourself. I have this picture of myself framed when I'm 17 years old. And I'm standing out in front of our milk parlor. And I think I had been competing for the Miss RAMC or something or another. And I had a little trophy and a little tiara on my head, but I remember the sun shining on my face as my mommy took the picture. And I remember thinking the world was mine and I could completely control it. And I was so happy and I was so optimistic and what have you. And I keep that picture framed on my desk because sometimes the world steals that 17-year-old girl away from me and I have to go after her. I have to go after her and I find her because I don't want to be bitter and I don't want to be tired and I don't want to be old and I certainly don't want to be broke. And so I have to go chasing after her. So that's my assignment as you leave here, because I believe you were all in. I believe you were all in when you came here. But you've got to be able to stay all in, and you've got to find that little girl inside of you that has that dream, that person that God created. And I want you to go chasing her because she's got all the answers. Thank you all and have a safe trip home.
My goosebumps everywhere. I'm up and down my body right now.